Happy Sunday morning. As I'm standing here in my house, I'm kind of looking at the lights and seeing how they play off one another. And I can stand on this side of the camera and I'm in the shadows, and I can stand back on this side of the camera and I'm in the light. So whether we're inside with the lights or whether we're outside with the sunlight, there are places of shadows. And most of the time we associate shadows with something to fear, something to avoid. But actually, I want to talk about shadows very differently today. And it's actually a place where we can learn to grow and strengthen while we wait. Joshua, he spent 40 plus years in Moses' shadow. And it was a place of obscurity for Joshua, but at the same time, it was a place that he was gaining strength, that he was gaining knowledge, that he was watching Moses' leadership and learning from it, so that when it came time for him to take the position, when God opened the door for him to take the position, he was as ready as he could possibly be at that point. When we talk about shadows, my mind automatically goes to Psalm 91, verse 1. Those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Even God himself says, let me take the limelight and you live in the safety and the security and the rest of my shadow. Because with that limelight often comes criticism, maybe that we didn't expect. It's not all that. There's a lot of responsibility that will come from being in the light. So the period of time that we have the opportunity to stand in that shadow and to stay in that place of obscurity for just a little while is actually an opportunity for us to grow and develop. We have to be very careful not to get an attitude of jealousy, to not be frustrated when we're in that place of obscurity, we're in that place of shadow, because we want to be in the light. When God says, I will place you at the right time, in the right place, under the right conditions, when you're ready. But it's not time yet. So we have to maintain a good attitude in our hearts as we're walking through those moments of obscurity that God gives us. And it can be a very long period of time. In my book, Enter in chapter 4, it's called The Long Road of Obscurity. And it's talking about Joshua in particular and how he stayed in Moses' shadow all of those years, and he learned so much. When it came time, Joshua was ready to take the lead, and God put him in charge of all those people. Watching how someone handles injustice and long periods of waiting in subordinate positions is a good indicator of what's inside of them. Will they wait for God to elevate them at the proper time, or will their impatience cause them to grab for position that isn't theirs for the taking? Humility is the key. Humility cautions us to be still in the Lord's presence as he works out circumstances according to his purposes. And you may ask, well, what am I supposed to do in these moments of waiting? What am I supposed to do while I wait in obscurity? And the answer to that is serve. Keep growing. Keep doing what you need to do in your personal growth and in your growth with the Lord, but serve. Serve those in authority over you. Serve the one whose shadow you're walking in. And God will honor you. And at the right time, he'll lift you up and place you where he wants you. But that long road of obscurity needs to be one of humility and one of service. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next Sunday.